is the role of religion in our ever-changing world? From the News Channel 5 network, this is Issues of Faith.
Hello everyone, welcome to Issues of Faith. I am Ben Hall. Very good show today. We're talking about a movement to improve the lives of women and children in developing countries, and a new book that talks about how to do that. We're happy to talk about the Mother and Child Project. And we have with us Jenny Dyer, Hope Through Healing Hands Executive Director. Jenny, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And Scott Sauls, Christ Presbyterian Church in Nashville pastor. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks.
You've contributed to the book. You helped compile the book. So what is this? When I say the Mother and Child Project, what is that?
The Mother and Child Project is a new book that's going to be out at the end of March, and it's a compilation of authors. There's 47 different authors who have come together to talk about the importance of maternal, newborn, and child health, with a special emphasis on healthy timing and spacing of pregnancies. So we have an array of authors, evangelical leaders, pastors, nonprofit leaders, academic leaders, artists who have contributed to this book with a variety of writings. We also, with this book, have a number of women in developing nations who have contributed to the book with their stories of maternal and child health and how healthy timing and spacing of pregnancies has affected their lives. So women from Kenya, India, Burundi, and other nations have contributed to kind of provide a thrust for the book.
And it's fascinating to read through it, and we'll talk about some of the different people who've contributed, including Scott here. But why this topic? Why do you feel like it is so important at this time?
Right. So a couple of years ago, Melinda Gates brought these issues to the fore at a meeting in London, the London Summit. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with a coalition of other groups, really took maternal, newborn, and child health and healthy timing and spacing pregnancies to say this may be the next big issue for global health. You know, we have worked on issues of HIV/AIDS and extreme poverty for years. Ben, you've been a part of that. I've been a part of that. But this may reach even tenfold. The HIV/AIDS crisis, we have, thanks to the American tax dollars, provide ARVs now to over 14 million people, thanks to the leadership of the Bush administration, the Obama administration, with PEPFAR and the Global Fund. The goals for the maternal and child health are to reach 120 million women, so it's almost tenfold. That's kind of the initiative for this. Senator Frist and I have worked in maternal and child health for about 5 or 6 years with Save the Children, and knew that this is and may be the next issue. So we have supported Melinda and supported these initiatives, and really wanted to rally the faith communities in particular around maternal and child health.
This is the next way to fight poverty in the world. I mean, there's a quote in here, the way to fight poverty is one family at a time, and it would seem the way to help families most is through the mothers, the women. And so, Scott, how did you become part of this project?
Jenny invited me to be part of this project, and one of the members in our church actually works very closely with Jenny on this project and is an advocate internally in our church for this project, and it was a no-brainer to be able to contribute in whatever way that I could with whatever platform that I have to help raise awareness for the issue. So, but I was just asked, so that's how I got involved.
And your essay is called Shame and Stewardship. And what you have in here are, like you said, many essays written by many different people, pastors, political leaders, entertainers. There's an impressive list of people. I read yours. It's really interesting, Shame and Stewardship. And you talk about how everyone has this hidden battle of shame. Go into that more.
We, I think, instinctively assume that we're on trial. We instinctively feel that both from within ourselves and outside of ourselves that we don't measure up to what we should be, and you know, things like defensiveness and avoidance of confrontation, even healthy confrontation, are byproducts of that we don't want to be exposed. And you know, from my theological position, that goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve you know, decided to seek independence from God and sought to cover themselves, and they hid, and they started shifting blame. And so you get all of these sort of factors that come into play when we're insecure about who we are and not measuring up to who we're supposed to be. And how this impacts this kind of issue globally is that shame causes us to turn inward, and we're less prone to think about, you know, proactively doing what we can do to alleviate the shame of others, and the shame sort of triggers that exist in other cultures, like Uganda, for instance, that I write about in the essay, where a woman's identity is you know, significantly tied to her fertility. If she can have a lot of children, oftentimes it's from a lot of men, but you know, actually it's more likely that one man will have children, you know, through many women. But women who are able to bear children and also just survive that process and raise the children are sort of viewed as currency, you know, as a person of value, whereas, you know, infertility, much like in ancient biblical times, is seen as a curse, which, you know, there's a lot of shame that comes into play because of that and because of the cultural pressure. And so it all sort of ties together. And I think the justice efforts of this project, you know, one of the byproducts of getting things done with respect to this project is the alleviation of the shame triggers of the culture. You know, that
we're so focused on ourselves through shame or whatever that we don't think outwardly. We're not focused on the problems of others so often, and that I thought was so great about what you said. And so, what appetite are you seeing on the part of churches and others to really get involved and help? And I guess, you know, it's a noble idea, but when people say, you know, number one, what can I do, or how can I really make a difference? You know, so what appetite are you seeing as far as people wanting to help?
So the good news is, about a year and a half ago, we launched the Faith-Based Coalition for Healthy Mothers and Children Worldwide, out of Hope Through Healing Hands, which is the Nashville-based global health organization that I run, that's chaired and founded by Senator Frist. And this coalition has brought together people just like Scott. Scott's a member of our coalition, per se. Pastors, just like the authors in the book, nonprofit leaders, Christian music artists, country music artists, athletes like Scott Hamilton, you know, friends in Nashville, but across the U.S. We have met with Focus on the Family. We've met with Samford University in Birmingham. We've met with Southeastern Christian Church in Louisville, and we've been down in Florida. So we've been across the U.S. In colleges and churches, having this dialogue about maternal, newborn, and child health, and asking the question, how can we all come together to support these issues, particularly for the U.S. government and for funding out of our foreign assistance? How can we all rally together on behalf of the least of these, if you will, on behalf of the poor? And the good news is that it's working, that we all do agree that healthy timing and spacing saves lives. And we all do agree it is our job, it is our duty to lead on these issues, because these are moral issues. What can people do? Well, I think this book is a great example of one of the first steps, particularly for people in the churches, right? To read about this, to educate themselves, to promote awareness about this. We even have a discussion guide that can go along with the book as a Bible study. It's a great 4-week Bible study for churches to use for their Sunday schools or book clubs. So it's that first step of education. The next big step really is promoting awareness with friends and family, and bringing this topic to the fore, this important issue. And then after that, advocacy. How can we let our elected leaders know that we care very much about this? So most Americans believe, actually over half of Americans believe, that we spend close to 25% of our U.S. budget on foreign assistance, on foreign aid. But in fact, we do not. We spend less than 1%. So almost 2/3 of 1% go to global health issues like maternal and child health, like HIV/AIDS, like extreme poverty. So with that knowledge, knowing that less than a penny to a dollar goes to foreign assistance, letting our elected leaders know that we know that those pennies save lives in a unique way.
And when you say healthy spacing of pregnancies, I want to get more into that, talk about what we're talking about, get some of the numbers, and hear some of the individual stories that are in the book. But we'll take a break. We'll talk about that. Be back right after this.